Hi everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. In this episode, I'll be sharing with you something a bit more personal. At this time, therapy is not something that is commonly shared or commonly spoken of. It's somewhat of a taboo topic to talk about. It took me a while to really share this, especially in this podcast. At this moment in time in my life in 2017, I was going through a lot of pain, anxiety attacks, and I wasn't eating as much. But I went to the gym every single day, lifting weights just to have an outlet of how much suffering I was feeling inside, really trying my best to survive every single day. Without further ado, let's dive into the episode. Here are the four things that I've learned. Number one, therapy will not solve all your problems. Number two, it's your responsibility to heal from your wounds. Number three, your mistakes do not define who you are. And lastly, number four, sometimes therapy is not what you need. Number one is therapy will not solve all of your problems. Just to give more details to the story, I actually went to two types of therapists. The first one I went to, I only went to them, I think, twice, and I realized it wasn't working simply because, of course, if you go to therapy, you basically pay someone to listen to you and give you advice. And at the end of that, they give you medicine to quote unquote treat what you're feeling. So after attending I think 4 to 5 times, I also stopped going to therapy. For me, it wasn't a good feeling for you to pay someone to listen to you and be the only suggest or give you medicine to quote unquote again treat what you're feeling. But after realizing that the medicine or the sessions weren't working, this is the moment where I just sat down and reflected and thought to myself, what do I need to do in order for me to feel better? So that is honestly, that's easier said than done. It took me a while to really accept that, okay, the solution that I'm seeking is not outside of me, but inside. Long story short, I never realized that I was looking for outside solutions for my inner problems. And what made the difference was I realized that inner problems require inner work. So think of it this way, even if you have all of the best medicine, all of the best doctors in the world, all of the best advice and wisdom that they can give you, those outward things would not help you if you yourself do not help yourself. My problems were myself. I'm the reason why I'm having all of these problems. I'm the one who should do the work in me in order for me to be better. If you don't accept that you need to take time to sit down and reflect on what you need to work on and work on those things with action points, you would either repeat all of those problems again or those problems will get worse. So it's a matter of not ignoring the problems in front of you, but rather facing them in order for you to be a better person. It took me a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of internal work in order for me to get to where I am today. Which leads us to number two. It is your responsibility to heal from your wounds. How you heal is based on your willingness to work through your trauma and pain. Yes, it is uncomfortable. It is hard, but it is possible. It's just a matter of will you keep going or will you just settle and just let the trauma, the pain, the fear, the anxiety that you currently have and allow it to control your life. It doesn't mean that once you do this, you will continuously all throughout your life, you will be healed. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when you go through something and you work on it, most definitely a new problem will come. And same thing, you should do the same process. You should reflect on it, heal from it, and then move on. And with you moving on from that, you're a much better person from where you were before. So it's a matter of looking at your problems, your trauma, your pain, viewing it that these things, these problems, okay, I have to deal with them. And what can I learn from them? How can this problem once I solve it? Or even if I'm unable to solve it, how can I use this to make me stronger? How can I use this to make me better? Life is imperfect. People are imperfect. There will be no perfect circumstance. And if you see other people winning in life, those people that you look up to that are rich, that are successful, you're just seeing the highlights of their life, but you didn't see the amount of suffering, the amount of pain that they had to go through, and the hardship that they have to overcome in order for them to reach where they are today. But it doesn't mean that when you're rich and successful, you don't have problems anymore. Those people are successful simply because they are able to solve problems and provide solutions for them. So, in short, they take it upon themselves to provide solutions, to work on improving themselves so that they can be better in society. They can be better versions of themselves to help other people, which leads us to number three. Your mistakes do not define who you are. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has a past. Everyone is going through something. I just want to say that you're not alone. Even I do struggle with current and past mistakes. Like there would be a bad day for me. Like even if it's just a normal day, there are things that would come in my mind that I did in the past that I regret, of course. But the thing that keeps me from making that same mistake is me acting on who I want to become. And who I want to become is better than who I was in the past. Everyone deals with this. The only thing that makes a difference is how you would respond towards it. For me, in the past, I used to be frustrated. I used to feel helpless. I used to feel like a victim that, why am I still feeling this way? That's no longer who I am. So why do I feel so bad about the mistakes I did in the past? So that's how I thought of it, how I framed it in the past. But now I use it as motivation as to where I want to go or who I don't want to be anymore. You can do something about it. It's just a matter of continuing the path of improvement. If you feel overwhelmed by all of the negative thoughts, all of the negative feelings, being reminded of your mistakes, being reminded of who you were that you didn't like, you can write about it. You can either use pen and paper. You can write about what you're feeling at that moment. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. It doesn't have to be well written. It just have to be expressed. Feelings are not facts. Express it through words. Express it by calling a friend or seeking someone who can help you process what you're feeling. Sometimes you need alone time to reflect. Sometimes you need other people to help you process and feel supported. That's okay. You write about it, or you can record through your phone, or you can type it out. You can create an episode about it. Again, just like what I said earlier, you can use all of the negative feelings in a much more productive way. Your mistakes do not define you. Your actions define who you are. And don't forget to be grateful. Things happen the way it did. We are unable to take it back. Now, how can you make yourself better from that? There's only a certain amount of time, a certain amount of effort that you can do for you to be better every single day. So it's better for you to work on yourself 1% every single day instead of you just beating yourself up and feeling like you're on level one again. There are going to be good days and bad days, and everyone goes through it. I just want you to know that your mistakes do not define you. All right, lastly, number four, sometimes therapy is not what you need. I'm not saying that therapy in general will not be helpful. It actually did help me in some sort of way because it helped me realize that, okay, this is not what I need. These are the things that I need to work on. This is just an avenue that propelled me into a different direction. So that's the purpose of therapy for me. So, with that said, I found a light at the end of the tunnel. And I don't want to sound all religious here, but I actually went back to church. Again, it took me years to really understand that I should not deal with it alone because at that moment, the reason why I spiraled down to that lowest point in my life was because I isolated myself. At that moment, I realized that I lack a lot of things. And my mindset before was all instant gratification, other people should make me happy, entitlement mindset, all of the things that I feel that I'm not responsible for. So that is a very much entitled mindset that I had before. And now how I view things again when I have problems now, which I learned from the community that I was in before, it is your job to make yourself be better because no one can do that for you. Again, even if you have the best wisdom, the best people around you, even if you have the best equipment, medicine, and all of the best things that the world has to offer, if you yourself are not willing to help yourself, no one in the world will be able to help you. So, just to wrap up the podcast episode, again, the four key takeaways of this episode is number one, therapy will not solve all of your problems. Number two, it is your responsibility to heal from your wounds. Number three, your mistakes do not define who you are. And number four, sometimes therapy is not what you need. What I want you to take away from this episode is I want to highlight the importance of doing the inner work and being willing to work through the trauma and the pain in order for you to become the person that you want to become. So, regardless of whether therapy is right for you, for as long as you're improving, for as long as you're doing the work, then go for it.